Welcome, everyone. A very, very warm welcome. I'm so delighted to have you here with me today. For those of you who might be watching the replay or don't know me, you just met me. Could you please mute your mic, whoever's got their mic on for the moment? Okay, so for those of you who may not know me that well, my name is Wendy Ocho. I am the founder of Healing Spaces Caribbean and the founder of the Find Your Fire Tribe. And I'm a master feng shui consultant. I've been doing that for, it seems like about 10 or 11 years. And what I do is I use the magic that is feng shui to help people change the energy of their life, both in the external spaces and their internal spaces. And it is my passion. I call it my ikigai to do that. Today, I am going to help you see ways in which you can change the energy of your external spaces for your Christmas decor. And it should be fun, it should be fascinating. I hope you enjoy it. I really loved putting it together for you. So without further ado, why don't we start? First of all, I'd like you to know that you are already doing feng shui. Every time you put aside your normal decor that you've had all year to create a special energy in your home for Christmas, you clean, you clear, you throw things away, you make new things, you bring out the new curtains, you get the Christmas tablecloths out, you bring the Christmas tree out from wherever you've stored it, you make the wreaths. You are creating a special energy in your home that makes you feel like Christmas. People who think that feng shui is woo-woo or airy-fairy, all you have to do is experience this transition in your homes when you do your Christmas decorating and you realize we do it because it makes us feel different. It makes us feel like Christmas, the memories of our childhood, the festive season. We are changing our personal chi and the chi of everybody who is in that space by changing our decor. You're doing feng shui already, all your life. Your parents were doing feng shui, you're doing feng shui because you are intentionally changing the energy of your space to create a certain effect on the people in it. You're doing feng shui. So, hey, I don't have to go any further. But I think maybe I can add to your existing knowledge of changing the chi today. So let's talk about preparing for Christmas the feng shui way. And you'll realize it overlaps a lot with the things that you do, because we always prepare the space first. We prepare the space, we call it energetically, but it's got a lot of hands-on in it. First of all, you clean. Do we clean for Christmas? Mm-hmm. And then we clear. Clearing is something perhaps many of you might not do naturally, but clearing is something feng shui people love to do. So clearing involves basically lightening up the chi, and the chi is the energy in your space. And we do that, you can do it simply by, if you're especially in a cold place like Marina, opening the windows and letting the air come in for a while, and then closing them back, Marina, because I know it might be too cold. Letting the sunshine in. If you're in a place where your curtains are pulled all the time, you might open the blinds, open the curtains, let the sunshine in. Those things clear the space. And then you can take it many other steps further. There are many simple ways of clearing space. Sometimes many people know about using sage, going around and smudging a space with sage. Some people use incense. Some people use music, singing bowls. Some people use orange peels or spritzing or essential oils. There's so many ways of clearing the energy of a space. And it makes you feel better as well when you do that, when you feel the energy lift because you've opened the windows, opened the curtains, and spritz some, say, orange peel water around, or some lovely essential oil that makes you feel happy. So we clean it, we clear it, and we bless it. So blessing it is another little step that, regardless of your particular spiritual path, you can do for your home to basically consecrate it, make it sacred for the things that you're about to do for the energy of Christmas. You basically asking that your home be whatever is important to you, but that's a harmonious, peaceful, joyous, contented place with a lot of love for Christmas. So your blessing is according to your particular path to make towards your home and all the people in it. So that's step one of preparing a space energetically. And then we look at step two, which is a little scary sometimes. It involves getting rid of anything that has a negative or a depressing energy that affects you. This is, again, a reminder that everything we're surrounded by affects our personal energy. So if there are pieces of, if there's a lot of clutter, or if there are pieces of furniture that you know very well you need to replace or repair or get rid of, preparing for Christmas is a good time to do that. Nobody's asking you to run out and spend a lot of money, especially now, but perhaps some things really do have to go. And if they do, you can replace that energy, that negative energy of something that is really heavy or worn or tired or ugly. It's a sha. In our parlance, that's a sha. With something that's beautiful without spending a lot of money. You could perhaps bring in some fresh cut flowers. You can change the curtains for curtains that are a little bit nicer that you had in the cupboard. So you can do out with the old, in with the new, without expending too much money, but you're expending thought and feeling. You're thinking, does this item that I've replaced the other thing with give me a feeling of lightness, a feeling of joy? Does it affect us in a positive way? If so, it's a keeper. The other thing, it's a goner. So we prepare the space by replacing or removing or gifting away anything that has negative connotations for us in any way. And then when the space is prepared, it's time to add the Christmas tree. What do you guys do to add the Christmas tree? Write it in the chat. Give me a couple examples and I'll actually look at the chat. So we have Nicole saying she does a nativity set. Wonderful. Do you put up a Christmas tree, Nicole? Does anybody put up a Christmas tree? Or Christmas wreaths? Ah, Shannon says she loves her wreath and her tree. Lights, lights, lights. Penny, I'm with you on the lights. Christmas tree, holly, lights, the works. Oh, yes, Vidya, good for you. Okay. Christmas tree, lights and garlands. And lights on the outside of the house too. That's right. Shannon, by doing that, you're actually changing the tree around your house on the outside as well as on the inside. Vidya loves Christmas. Terry loves tree wreaths and scented candles. Let's not forget the scented candles. Okay. And you know what? Christmas music is something we all add. We're hearing it all the time. And that changes our tree as well. That's part of changing the decor for Christmas. Somebody else said, Vidya said, I want to try and get the laser lights this year for Christmas. Okay, lights and poinsettia, Marina poinsettia are beautiful Christmas touches. Okay, so thank you guys for sharing that. Let's move on and see what you can do with those things from a feng shui point of view. All right, so I'd like to share with you a new way of looking at your Christmas decorating. And how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to introduce you to the idea of the 5 elements. Now, some of you have done 5 elements with me before and have a head start, but today I'm going to introduce everybody else to the 5 elements. And for those who know about the 5 elements, this is a slant towards the use of them for your Christmas decor. So it's a bit different, all right? So what are the 5 elements? For the people who don't know anything about it, they are fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. And they are one of the core pillars of feng shui. The concept, the principle is that everything in your world and your universe can be expressed in terms of an elemental energy. Something can have a fire energy, an earth energy, a metal energy, a water energy, a wood energy. You have a fire energy, an earth energy, a metal energy, a water energy, a wood energy. Somebody can have a certain energy today and a certain energy tomorrow because their emotions have changed, their behavior has changed. But everything can be expressed in terms of one or more of the 5 elements, all right? So before we can therefore look at your decor through the lenses of the 5 elements, I have to introduce you to the elements. So here we go. First one is the element of fire. And the element of fire, oh, by the way, every element can be expressed in terms of the element itself. So fire can be expressed by fire, like those scented candles, Marina. And also in terms of shapes and colors that we can use to bring that element into a particular situation. And every element adds a certain energy. Basically, they each have their personality. So the energy that fire adds in terms of Christmas, it's the energy of purification, light, hope, faith, passion, and love. So when you use your Christmas decor to personify or bring in or strengthen the element of fire, these are the energies that you are supporting and strengthening. It's used, I know you know that fire has been used for for millennia in religious ceremonies, in clearing ceremonies, in prayer ceremonies. So purification and light, hope and faith, they all have that religious connotation. Fire is very, very primal for us. Passion and love, it's really more about the feeling, the strength of the feeling and the colors that are associated with fire, as you'll soon see. I'm mentioning the best friend is wood, and I will show the best friend for every element as we go along, but don't get hung up on those. Just know that they have their best friends. You'll hear about that later. So moving on to, let's say we wanted to add fire to our home for Christmas. How do we add fire? And remember, you can add any element by adding the element. So certainly by having those candles, some people might have a fireplace. If you're living in a cold country, you're adding fire. So, but other than that, anything that's to do with lighting, any lighting. So big spotlights, little tiny Christmas tree lights, those are adding the fire element. Anytime you add lighting, you're adding the fire element. Pointy shapes are the fire element. So you see that Christmas tree? What's the shape of a Christmas tree? Typically, it is very pointy, very triangular. It is a strong fire element. So when you have a pointy Christmas tree and then you cover it up with lights, as we have here, you are doubling up on the fire. You have a very powerful fire statement when you have a Christmas tree covered in little lights, whatever the color, lights are fire. And any pointy shapes, so triangles, pyramids, cones are fire. Reds, so you see the little doggy in his red sweater, that doggy is wearing a fire sweater. The red Christmas tree decorations, those have a strong fire presence. And for those of you who live in the Caribbean or the tropics, I remember I said pointy shapes. Do you see the sorrel at the bottom right? That's from my garden. Sorrel is a very fire energy because of all the points, and it's red. And guess what we use sorrel for? It's one of our favorite Christmas drinks. Isn't that ironic? And Marina, for you with the poinsettias, definitely fire energy if you're talking the red poinsettias. Yeah? Okay, so moving on to the next element, that's the element of earth. And earth, the energy of earth is all about harmony and support and nurturing and contentment and feeling grounded and feeling good. Earth is trustworthy. Earth has a feeling of you're safe, you're protected, you're at home. So if you wanted to add that feeling to your Christmas decor, you'd be thinking, I need to add some earth elements. The best friend of earth is fire. Again, don't get hung up on the best friends. You'll meet them again later. But earth is about that feel-good feeling. How do we add earth to our Christmas decor, you might ask? Well, seems like maybe you might have to put a pot of dirt, but no, many options. Earth is added by having, of course, anything to do with earth. So earth, soil, sand, rocks, stones, crystals. Anybody here have crystals in their house? Anybody use crystals? Because many people consider crystals part of their decor. Anything made from earth, such as ceramics. We all have something ceramic, probably in the kitchen, but maybe in the living room. Pottery, tiles. Many of us in the Caribbean have tiles on the floor, or decorative tiles. Those are all earth elements. Even if they may have other patterns on them, they're made from earth. Low rectangular shapes, such as your coffee table, they're considered earth shapes. And guess what? A wonderful way of adding the energy of earth to your home, especially for Christmas, is by scent, aromas. You can use essential oils. Some of them have very earthy tones. One of my favorites is vetiver. And that is a very strong oil. You have to always mix your essential oils, dilute them, but you can spritz around the house or heat them up and have a wonderful earth smell coming into your space, and that adds earth energy. And earth, another smell, yes, earth smells. Baking ham, baking bread, all those smells of contentment and nourishment and nurturing that we do when we are preparing for the Christmas feast. You are providing earth energy. It's coming out of your kitchen, it's filling your house. And that wonderful feel that you get and everybody gets, that is you absorbing the wonderful earth energy, nourishment, contentment, home. Earth colors are all the neutral earth colors that we're familiar with, and the paint palettes, the browns, the ivories, the actually some forms of reddish brown and some forms of orange brown and yellow browns, and there are a couple of pinks that are earth colors, dusky pinks, not normal pinks, but earth colors typically are the colors that you might see here in on this slide. But there's a lot of them. So you add earth colors, and maybe you have them in your walls already. So you can say, okay, earth is strong, and I'll put in some of the other elements. But in your decor, notice how you can add earth to your Christmas baubles. This little beautiful little Christmas decoration, tree decoration here has a very strong earth presence. It looks like the desert sands, and it is on a Christmas tree ball, which has a shape which you will meet shortly, but it's a very strong earth element. These gingerbread men are all the color of earth. And they also have the feeling of nourishment and contentment and home. So they're adding a strong earth energy. Everybody with me so far? Questions? Good, good, good. Okay, moving on then. So the third element to introduce to you is the element of metal. And metal is something we have a lot of going on at Christmas because everybody has the metal Christmas tree balls and shiny tinsel and all kinds of stuff going on. The energy of metal that metal provides at Christmas for you is one of celebration, gratitude, and joy. Metal is also connected with the aspect of heaven and moving from a normal kind of awareness to spiritually enlightened awareness. And metal adds a touch of elegance and luxury. It's the best friend of metal, which you can't see so well down here. Whoops, don't know what I just did. The best friend of metal is earth. Oops, I just covered it up. Okay, the best friend of metal is earth. And how do we add metal to our Christmas decorations? Well, this is a fabulous way of adding metal to our Christmas decorations, all those little balls. However, there are many other ways. So metal is represented by anything that is metal, but also that could involve glittery paint, sparkly little things that you put on, circles, ovals, and arches are metal shapes. So you notice the wreath, even though a wreath might be a different color or be made of plants and acorns and things, a wreath, because of its shape, it brings the metal energy in. And it can also have a lot of metal, as I have here with the Christmas tree balls, or on the one on the right, the silver leaves, because the colors of metal are silver, gold, white, grays, and pastels. So once you have those colors involved, especially the metallic colors, you're adding metal. So here in these three pictures, we have the two wreaths which are circular. So they are the metal element. And then they're dressed up with metallic balls on the left and metallic leaves on the right, the silver and gold and the ribbons. And below the wreath on the left, we have all these golden gifts, which are golden. So they're adding the metal element. So this is a very strong metal display for Christmas decor. And then more metal balls. And then since white, if you look at the colors of metal, white is a metal color. The flooring under the wreath on the left is also adding metal to the picture. So that person has chosen to express joy, gratitude, and celebration as a very strong part of their Christmas decor. You guys are beginning to see how you can use it. And in this gift, that person is also giving a very metal statement in the center picture where they're given a gift that is all metal. The wrapping paper is metallic. The wrapping ribbons are white and silver or white and silverish. And then of course you have the balls hanging. So it's a very strong metal picture. So perhaps that gift is not just one of love, it's one of gratitude. You can give a message with your elements. If you wanted to give one of love or passion, you might have wrapped it in a fire kind of energy. Beginning to see how you could play with this? Okay, now let's move on to another element. We're going to hit the element of water. Now, water represents energetically wisdom, flow, or flowingness, I call it, a sense of peace. It is associated with the energy of wealth and abundance. I'm sure you've noticed a lot of people who put water features in their driveways or have fountains in their living room because they believe that the energy of moving water attracts or supports the energy of abundance. So it's associated with wealth and abundance. The best friend of water is metal. How can we bring the energy of wisdom, flow, peace, wealth, and abundance into our Christmas decor, you might ask? Well, let's take a look. In order to add water, you add water. So if you have those water features, or even a little glass bowl that you want to add some water in and perhaps float something on it. But you can add water with anything that has water in it or water feature or an active water feature. Water is not a problem. Water is also represented by glassware, mirrors, clear crystal, highly reflective surfaces, asymmetrical and wavy shapes. And the word asymmetrical sometimes gives people some problems, but asymmetrical means like not balanced, sort of flowing, wavy shapes in this context, and the colors of midnight blues and blacks. So take a look at the picture on the right. If you're looking for the water element, I would say, yep, those glasses, that's glassware, and one of them was probably a water glass, we could have water in it. And then you see the plate china, all black. That table has a very strong water element. It also has, you see the knives and forks, they add the metal element. And you see the candles, they add the fire element. And there are other things in that table that we're going to meet shortly. But this is how you start creating or thinking of creating your Christmas decor using water. Very flexible. It doesn't have to be that you have a water feature. You can represent it by asymmetrical glassware colors. Some other examples of adding the water element. This Christmas tree ball here is made of glass, so it therefore represents the water element. Even though it's round, which is a metal shape, the flowing letters, sort of the cursive script, that is flowing. So again, it adds a little bit of water feeling. The black and white ribbon, that has curves and it has a little flow. So it adds, and it has a black stripes. So it adds a bit of the water element, energy in it. Moving across to the beads. Many people use beads and they string the beads in curves on their Christmas tree. That is adding the water element. Even if the beads are red or green or some other element, the flowing of the beads adds a feeling of flow. That's adding the water element. Many people use ribbons. I have a picture here of little tiny golden ribbon. Guess what? The golden ribbon, the gold is metal, so that's a metal ribbon, but the lovely curves on it add the water element very strongly. So this is a water and metal touch. And many people use the thick decorative ribbons for their Christmas tree, and they wrap their Christmas tree in it. When they do that, they're adding the water element in the form of the shape of that ribbon as they drape it and they curl it around their tree. So those are the ways you add the water element to your decor. Now, finally, let's take a look at the fifth element, which is the element of wood. The energy of wood is one of new life and new beginnings, creativity and growth. And the best friend of wood is water. How do we add the wood element to our Christmas decor? Well, it's everywhere. Have you noticed that the Christmas tree tends to be a tree? That means it's the wood element. And so once we have a Christmas tree, it's a wood element. Even if it's a plastic Christmas tree. If it's a real Christmas tree, it's even more the wood element. The wood element is represented by anything that's plant, flower, or tree. And so all flowers are part of the wood element. Leaves are the wood element. Grass is the wood element. And definitely trees are the wood element. Nuts and pine cones are the wood element. So how else can you represent the wood element if you didn't want to bring in any more trees into your house? Essential oils, many of them come from plants. Rose oil, sandalwood oil, lemongrass oil. The list is endless. You can add essential oils to your decor and you're adding the essence of the wood element. And it's a very beautiful, subtle way of bringing the wood energy up if you don't find you have enough. Shapes of wood. Because representing wood shapes, we use columns and stripes. Why is that? Because it looks like the trunks of the trees. So the wood element can be represented by those pinstriped curtains or cushion covers, and you're adding the wood element. And then even better, if you add the colors of wood, which are the deep greens and the deep blues, then you're strengthening the wood element. So looking at this slide where we have three pictures, the one on the left, these gifts are wrapped very, very strongly in wood colors. These gifts are wrapped in the green of wood, and then they're surrounded by all the greenery. You see the green pine kind of things around it. And then the fire, oops, my internet connection is unstable. I hope you guys can hear me. All right. And then we have the candles around adding the fire energy. Very often in Christmas decor, you will see red and green going together. Red and green is a popular theme for Christmas. It's part of the tradition, actually. It comes from the green is part of the symbol of life through winter, life coming out of the cold darkness of winter comes a life of spring, and Christmas sort of gives you that hope and that belief. So green is very, very strong for Christmas. It also, for Christian philosophy, represents the new life of Christ. And the red represents the hope and the new beginning and the hope and the faith and the resurrection in a way, the blood of Jesus. So green and red are very, very typical for traditional Christmas colors. But from a feng shui point of view, green and red are fire and wood. And it so happens that wood is actually the best friend of fire. So they go well together from a feng shui point of view. So in this picture on the left, we have the green and red, and it's a very happy picture because the wood element is supporting the fire. The picture in the middle is a picture of a Christmas tree because that is definitely a very powerful wood symbol. Now remember, the Christmas tree is also very pointy. So Christmas tree is a fire symbol. So again, we have wood and fire. And again, wood is the best friend of fire. So that's a harmonious feng shui energy going on there. All right. And the picture on the right is a picture of a wreath. And that wreath is made out of pine boughs and branches and pine cones and red things. I think that's holly. Is that holly, guys, who know about those things? Marina, you cold weather people, is that holly, the red stuff? You're muted. Can't hear you.
No, it's not.
Oh, so what are the red things?
I don't know, some sort of berries.
Okay, so berries then.
But that's not the leaf for holly.
Holly is a pointy leaf, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, red berries. But again, you see, we're back to the green and red. And again, the green and red is fire being supported by wood. So it works. Yeah? So, okay. So you guys have just met all the 5 elements. And really, most people at Christmas time like to toss them all in together. They don't know they're doing elements, but they like all the colors. They like the variety. They like to go big, bold, and bright for Christmas. And so very likely, you've had all the 5 elements in your palette all along. It's just now you can look at them with more intention and decide what energy you want to actually have as your major theme. You might have themed Christmas, energetic themes. So let's take a look. Let's say you wanted to have in your life for your Christmas time, the energy of love, light, passion, purification, hope, faith. You might want to strengthen up your fire energy in your Christmas decor. You might want to choose more than one of the others, or you could just choose 1 or 2 or 3, but let's go through them one at a time. The earth energy, you might want to strengthen the energy of harmony, nourishment, safety, and contentment. Then you would fire up your earth element in your Christmas decor. If you wanted to strengthen the energy of water, which is the energy of wisdom, flow, peace, abundance, plenty, then you strengthen the water element. If you wanted to shore up the energy or express the energy of joy, gratitude, and celebration, perhaps you might add more metal to your decor, although most of us usually have quite a lot of metal going on in our decor. And if you wanted to express your belief in new life, new beginnings, creativity, the movement of reaching out for a whole new horizon, a whole new future, then you would want to strengthen the wood element. And you already know some of the ways in which you can do that. So let me introduce you now to the idea of the best friends. Just as a memory, I'm going to reduce some of the picture images here. Hold on. Right.
Wendy, excuse me, check the chat, please.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Ooh. See, I forgot. Okay. So Shannon is saying, oh, back up, right up. Poinsettia.
Wendy?
Yes?
Would you like me to read it for you?
Well, you can, but I'm reading it through now.
Okay, great.
Best ever is myrrh, and that's an earth energy, right, Shannon? Very
Myrrh?
earth. Myrrh and vetiver. I know vetiver for sure. Myrrh is very earthy. And Shannon also said she purchased more wood element ornaments, and she loves sandalwood and cedarwood, correct. Oh, another way of adding the energy of wood, you guys, is if you're burning in your fireplace, you might burn aromatic woods such as cedar or pine cones, or you have the essential oil, being warmed up and giving those elements out, those energies out is another beautiful way of adding the wood energy. Wendy, at first you said wood was supported by water and then it was fire. Okay, so Ellen, you're confused there? Hold on, let me tell you, we're going to discuss it now, all right? We're going to discuss it now. So here we are with the best friends, and I hope I sort you out, Ellen. So these are the best friend arrangements, okay? Fire loves wood. The one on the left loves the one on the right. Fire loves wood. Why is that, Ellen? Because if you want to build a big fire, you usually add a lot of wood, yeah? Now,
okay.
Okay, and in our context, fire is represented by fire, red things, reddy orange colors, and triangular things, okay?
Yeah, I
And-
do get that. It's
Okay.
only at the wood time.
I'm going to get to you, but we're going to get to the wood. But
I
stand
am
by.
okay with all the others, okay?
No problem. We're going to
I am-
touch.
that's clear.
If you have that question, other people have it too. So fire loves the thing that makes it bigger, right? Earth loves fire. We're going across in a clockwise direction. Earth loves fire. So we have the brown doggy, who is an earth element in terms of his color, right? And he's wrapped up in the red sweater. He's very happy. Now, just so you know, animals add fire energy. So if you have a pet, like Christine, you have five fire elements in your house right away, okay? All right, so we have earth loves fire. So in other words, the earth doggy right now loves the fire sweater. Going down to the bottom right, water loves metal. So we have the metal balls and we have the metal color of the ribbon, but water in the shape, they are another good match. Water loves to be with metal, all right? Going to the middle, metal, however, loves to be with earth. So that ball, which is a round metal Christmas tree decorated ball, is very happy that it's painted in earth colors because metal loves to be with earth. And down at the bottom left, where we have the flower arrangement with the pottery bowl, we have the water in the bowl. The water is feeding the plants, Ellen. So the plants love water. Any plants are fed water, trees are fed water to keep them healthy. So wood, which are plant life, love water. Does that make sense to you? Okay.
It makes sense to me. It's only that you switch from wood, best friend, from water to fire. That's what confused me.
If
It
I
was
did,
quite clear.
okay. If I did, I do apologize. I'll have to replay and check myself. But thank you for that. Okay.
Okay.
So this is it. Okay, this is it. All right. So everybody got that? Anybody have any questions with that?
Thank you.
Okay.
Andy,
Yes,
I have a question.
Oh, let me put you on picture-wise. Think. Go ahead, Christine.
Okay, so we could make decisions because everything is a personal choice. We could make decisions as to whether or not we want to have like and I know you'll probably get there, 5-element Christmas decor, or maybe we just decided for this year, which is what a lot of people do. They say, well, this year I'm just going to go with white and baby pink and silver and, you know, the metal colors and so on. So is it recommended? Because I know we can do anything, but is it that much better to have a 5-element Christmas harmony? Or simply just go with go with one, you know, simplify it a little bit and just go maybe with the one, because I love the whites and the silvers and the golds and the pinks and stuff like that.
Christine?
Hmm?
To each his own, it's your Christmas. What this will do is give you understanding of the energies that you're calling into play when you make your choices. And
Okay.
most people like to throw everything together. Some people like to take a theme and they might say, this is my gold and silver year. This is my white and my silver and baby pink year. This is my red and green year. And that's okay. But when you do, I want you to understand what energy you're supporting in your Christmas decor. And if they actually are friends, because if they're not friends, you actually do feel a little disjointing. You feel a little disconnect, as we'll see later. All right.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
You can address, if they're not friends, you can address it if you want to go a little deeper into the feng shui of it. But most people do it anyway and they just love the colors. And if you love the colors, make you happy, you change your chi, that's okay. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So here are the best friends. And now I'm going to move on to what happens if you decide you want to do, like Christine said, a couple of elements that aren't on the best friend list. So let's say you wanted fire and water. You guys, what does water do to fire?
Oh, it
Nurtures.
Are they best friends?
It nurtures it.
Definitely not best friends.
No.
You wanted to have your water and fire decor,
Yeah.
which might be a lot of reds, and then you might have a lot of, wavy black ribbons and black and blue ribbons and water elements and stuff. Suppose your Christmas was water and fire. You might think, that's my taste, this is what I like, but of course, energetically, you have a clash,
Yes.
right? So we want to give you a solution for that. So I'm going to introduce the idea of creating elemental harmony where none existed. Let's look at the fire-water combination, all right? So right away, when you look at this picture, I hope you see the red roses first.
Yes.
They're the dominant
Yeah.
feature, because fire is a very passionate, dominant thing. Remember, fire, passion, right? Now, let's forget the greenery around the roses right now. Let's look at what the roses are in. They're in a glass vase or crystal vase, which is a water element, and they're standing in water. By themselves, those are two opposing forces, but you want to have your Christmas bouquet of roses in a crystal glass. You want it, that's what makes you happy. Well, the reason this works is because of the greenery, because the greenery around the flowers represents the wood element. What is the best friend of fire?
Wood.
It is wood. So the roses are very happy because they're sitting in a nest of their best friend being supported by the best friend. The fire is being supported by the energy of wood. What is the best friend of wood? What makes wood plants feel big and strong and happy?
Water.
Water.
What are they sitting in? Water.
Water.
So the wood is happy. So the water is buffered from the fire by the wood, and everybody's happy because they're sitting in their best friend. You guys get it?
Yes.
So this is what we call a 3-element harmony. If you had just used the fire, roses without any stems, on the water, it might look pretty and pleasing to your eye, but energetically you're doing a clash. All right? So you can make that clash go away and create a harmony with 3 elements if you are aware. All right? So the best friend relationship is really handy for that. And if you wanted to dive deeper and create a 5-element harmony, you just take it a couple more levels, and there are 2 more elements that you'd want to add to this situation. So let me give you a couple of ideas. What's missing here are earth and metal. Anybody want to suggest how you might add the earth element to this particular arrangement? Earth is represented by rocks and stones and crystals and colors, brown and beige and earthy tones.
So
Anyway,
maybe,
yes,
so maybe you can set the vase
yes,
on a metal charger or a Christmas plate, and
could.
and put the crystals on the charger, or the stones on the charger.
Excellent, Christine. And another simple way, guys, would be to add a few little stones in the bottom of the vase or around the bottom, as Christine says, or in the water in the bottom, and tie a silver ribbon around it. You've added metal, and you've added some earth, and you have a 5-element harmony. And nobody in the whole house would recognize what you've done, but you'd know, because that's the most powerful energetic statement you can make.
And they would feel it.
They feel
They
it.
would feel it, but wouldn't know why.
They wouldn't know why.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. So moving on then to another use of the 5-element harmony concept, because it's quite important for certain things. Let's look at how you create a 5-element harmony for the key decor items in your Christmas. So right now, I would say those key items might be your centerpiece for your table, your dining table. They might be your Christmas tree, for sure, if you're doing a Christmas tree. They might be your main wreath, but I would recommend, if there's anything you're going to use the concept of a 5-element harmony for in your Christmas, it's those items, if you are using those items. So in this case, we have the Christmas table set out for the banquet, and they have put a lot of trouble into creating a beautiful space that makes everybody feel nourished and content. Let's take a look at the elements. What do you see?
I see water, I see metal, I see wood, I see fire.
What's missing?
No.
Well, I see the earth is represented because of the table. It's not a
Yeah.
high table, it's a low, it's a regular height table.
Well as the green leaves down the middle, the pine looking down the center.
Okay, so the green leaves are wood, the wood element.
But so we're
Right.
looking for what are we looking for? Earth?
Well, okay, what do you see the water is already discussed. You see the the candles, that's fire. You see the metal cutlery, all right?
Mhm.
And you definitely see the wood table. So you know, and the wood greenery, right? So the earth element is missing. In order to make this perfect, and they may have had this somewhere else on the table, you just need to add some earth energy. How can you do that and still keep a beautiful table?
Shapes?
What's that?
Shapes?
You can use shapes, but what? What would you can use anything made of pottery, ceramic. You can put candles in a little ceramic bowl or little ceramic
Right.
plate. Anything that adds the earth energy could be your napkins. You can change the colors of your table napkins, or your napkin holders could be ceramic.
Could it
Yeah.
be that because the plates are already ceramic, you would consider that?
They're very strong. Everything is usually a
Okay.
mix of elements, Christine.
Yeah.
For instance, the
Got
plates are
it.
round, so they also have the energy of metal, but the dominant in those plates is the black. So
Is it-
therefore the water.
Love
So that-
it.
Everything so makes everything else. We all like Trinis, we all mixed up, right? So think in terms of what do you feel when you look at that? You feel the black. What do you feel when you
Yeah.
look at the candles? You feel the fire. The candle could
Yes.
have a metal shape. It could be a round candle, but it's still the fire energy. So what's the energy that you're feeling? Because remember, it's all about how it feels. So we're missing the earth element, and you can add that so simply. Again, using little ceramics or pottery as part of your decor. If you have
Yes.
napkins and you're putting them in a napkin ring, that might be something really pretty, but made out of, something that is from earth. Or you can actually consider the table color an earth element. But in this case, because the table energy is really wood, because of the wood, the lines of the wood, what do you call those?
Yes.
Right, it really is more strongly wood. I would say we need to add some earth.
So
And then
maybe a runner.
A runner, yes, but you could do a runner, but it would be kind of obscured by the great bunch of greenery in the middle of the table. So perhaps little touches at each place setting, a little something that represents earth. Could be
Okay.
this, all right? And it could be beautiful because there's so much beautiful ceramic and pottery going on. I would say that's something I would aim at. And then guys, remember this, that beautiful smell of baking ham and baking bread and baking Christmas dinner adds a very strong earth and energy to your all right? So really this table is almost perfect, but I personally would add a little earth in concrete form and physical form, all right? Okay. I recommend that you look at your major items, such as your Christmas tree, your centerpiece, and your main wreath, or anything that your creche, somebody's creche, I can't remember who it was. Try to make your major, most important item a 5-element balanced harmony if you can, and then you'll feel the difference. All right. So talking about, I think Shannon was asking, no, somebody was asking in the chat about blue and green. Let me go back to about blue, the color blue. Yes, Sabrina. Sabrina, could you come and talk to me? You were asking about the color blue. Many people use blue. It depends on the blue. If you're using a midnight blue, then you're adding the water energy. So if it's a very dark blue, but if you're using a pastel, if you're using a blue like the deep of the sea, it tends to go into the wood energy. Blue is a little tricky. If you're using a pastel blue, it's a metal. So it depends on the color of your blues. Some people like the white and blue Christmas tree, white Christmas tree with light blue balls. Then they're using metal and metal. The light blue represents metal and the white represents metal. But some people might want to see blue. For instance, if you look behind me at my background,
So that's the blue I have seen on trees, like a lot of bows, that color blue.
What color blue? The blue on my tree?
That shade of blue, yeah.
Okay, then that is more a wood energy. All right.
Wood.
I have a very
Okay.
strong wood presence, and I'll tell you why, guys, because we all have our own personal elements, and I tend to be a very strong fire element, and wood feeds me. So I surround myself with wood expressions and everything else. I have my little 5 elements going on too, but I have a lot of very strong wood presence because it feeds me. All right. So continuing then, let's go back to your Christmas tree. Let's talk about your Christmas tree. There's so many ways of doing a Christmas tree, and you can do real Christmas trees, fake Christmas trees, Art Deco Christmas trees. You can do, metallic Christmas tree, meaning, things that are kind of artistic or not trees at all, right? But for today, I'm going to deal with the shape and branches of a traditional style Christmas tree. All right. Yes, it'll be very easy to say a Christmas tree is wood because it's a tree, green, and got branches and little things sticking off. And then it's a very strong fire shape. So we have the wood and fire going together, which we know is a good relationship. And then what? If we're going with the middle picture, which is the green Christmas tree, it's a tree, it is green, so it's wood, it's a fire shape. And then we can add our single decor thing, the blue balls, or the silver balls, or the green balls, or the red balls, or just plain lights to add a particular element to create a 3-element Christmas tree. Or we can go all the way to create a 5-element Christmas tree. I recommend that you create a 5-element Christmas tree because it's such a dominant feature in your home, and it's what everybody sort of is drawn to and circulates to, and it gives everybody then a very balanced energy if you do for a 5-element Christmas tree. But if you prefer not to, then that's okay. If so, just consider the message of your Christmas tree. So let's take a look at the left one. Anybody see this one on the left and feel that this is what they would like to put in their home? Please feel free to unmute and tell me. How does that Christmas tree on the left feel to you?
It doesn't move me at all.
No,
Okay.
it's cold to me.
Yeah.
Who said yeah? I heard Ellen cold. Who says yeah? Nicole?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it doesn't grab me at all.
You are so right, guys. That Christmas tree, what elements do you see there, Nicole?
There's metal.
Yes.
It's red for
The
fire. I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has fire
But
and
it's-
metal. And guess what? When you put a stick of metal in a hot fire, Nicole, what happens?
I think I've
It
been.
melts.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a happy relationship.
melts.
Typically. Is it a happy relationship, guys?
No.
Not really.
So it might look really, it might look like it should go in a magazine, this Christmas tree, but does it feel good?
No.
No.
To most of us, it doesn't. Now, everybody's different. And if it doesn't feel good to you, why would you have it as your big symbol in your house of Christmas? So this is not a good energetic combination. Now, we can certainly do things to it to help it. We can add the other elements and make it into a 5-element harmony. But as it is, it's a very cold, stark feeling. And that's not what you want for the energy of Christmas in your home. Now, how about the one on the right? How about the one on the right? Now, this is a trick question, so think. What are you seeing there?
I see metal. I see wood.
Mm-hmm.
I see
How
a
does it
lot of metal.
How does it feel?
A lot of metal.
How does it feel?
Icy.
I see and boring.
Woo.
Helen girl, I'm with you there.
How does it feel to you?
It doesn't.
It feels as if it's missing something. It just feels as if something is missing.
Marina,
I
how
want some colors somewhere.
well, Ellen, the one in the middle is for you, girl. What about Marina? How does it feel to you?
Well, it just feels very heavy and not very exciting and a bit boring.
Thank you.
So this is not a wow for most of you. However, it is a better Christmas tree feeling than the one on the left, and I'll tell you why.
Correct. Yes.
I'll tell you why. We have the tree underneath there somewhere. There's a tree, and I see bits of green showing. So we have the wood energy. The shape of the tree is very strongly fire, as it always tends to be with a traditional tree. And then they have drowned it in metal, right? what we have here is instead of the fire melting the metal has totally dominated this tree. So the fire has given up and gone away. So the metal actually is quite happy and strong, and it actually is fine. It's happy, it's harmonious. It just doesn't appeal to you visually, but there's no clash because the fire has given up. That metal is overwhelmed with fire. You guys get it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You can like it or not like it, but this tree is in better shape because the message is one of celebration and all the metal things, celebration and gratitude and joy in a big way. And that poor fire didn't have a chance to fight the metal. All right. Okay.
All right. Okay,
Okay.
I get it.
So now let's talk about therefore. So just consider the message of your tree. When you choose, Christine, you know, you like it, you know, you might like your two-tone, your two-element, your two-blessing message. Consider the message that you're giving and what is the feeling of it. All right. Now let's talk about, oops, somebody with something in the chat. Let me check. It looks like a really ill tree. Vidya, you're talking about what, the red and white or the red and silver or the red, the green?
No, the
sorry,
one on the left, the one on the left, the
all
red,
metal one.
yeah,
Which one were you talking about,
yeah,
Vidya?
the red
Really
one, the
ill
red
tree.
one. Yeah, it looks
And
really
Josiane said sterile.
sterile. Yeah.
Which one was that, the red and white or the green? The one on the,
No,
the one?
the red and white. The red and white and the one on the right doesn't catch me at all. Yeah, that's too plain. Yeah, too much metal. Yeah.
Okay, so we all sort of saying that we like to have more color in our trees. And I therefore recommend, as I do, that you think of when you're doing a tree, go for balance of the 5 elements and know that you're already starting off. If you're using a tree of this type, you're already starting off with a strong wood energy and a strong fire energy. And then you're going to add light. So you're highlighting the fire energy. You want to represent then the other elements, which are?
Metal, water, earth.
That's right. Okay, in your decor. Okay. All right. Now, as for placement, let's just tip and touch a little bit on placement. Now, this is a picture, guys, anybody who's not come to one of my sessions on Feng Shui, this is new to you, but many of the people in this group have already seen some of this. This is a Feng Shui energy grid. It's called the Bagua. It basically is a map that Feng Shui people lay on any space to give energy, to check the energetics of the various parts of the space. And each of those little boxes has a different energetic value. If you were standing at the door to your living room, say, let's say your Christmas decoration was going to be in your living room, you'd put the door to the living room along the bottom of this, and then you'd project this map onto the floor. And so fame and reputation energy would be in the far center of your room. So far, so good, folks?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Now, when you have a Christmas, each of them is also associated with an element, so that each of them has an element attached to them. Now, we're not going to go into that. That's a different course. But if you're talking about a standard Christmas tree, which is a strong wood energy and a strong fire energy, and then you add lights, fire is the dominant energy, right? It can't help it because you have a big pointy thing with lights, and then until you decorate it. There are certain places where it's better to put a fire energy than others. And they would be from the bottom left to the top right, that diagonal, those are all earth element boxes. And the top center one, the red one, which is a fire energy. These are the best places to put your fire element Christmas tree if it is strongly fire, all right? However, most people would not choose to put their Christmas tree in the front left corner of the room. Remember, the door is at the bottom, right? Most people don't want to come in and see the Christmas tree here. Most people want to see the Christmas tree when they come into the room. And you could put it in the center, but many people would find that not ergonomic to have the Christmas tree, especially if it's a big one, dominating the center of the room because of the seating arrangements and the passageways in the room. So that leaves us with the top right and the top center as the best places to put your Christmas tree if it is a fire energy Christmas tree. And that means when you stand at the door, which is at the bottom of this grid, you will look across the room and see your Christmas tree, and it will stimulate the energy of fire. And that energy is passion and love and faith and hope and all those lovely things. But these two places are the best locations for your fire energy Christmas tree. However, if you follow my guidance and you have a 5-element Christmas tree, you could basically put it anywhere you want because it's balanced. However, again, you'd find that the place that most people feel most comfortable with their Christmas tree is when they come into the room and they see it over there. So again, we're looking at the primary spots being the top of the grid, the 3 boxes along the top of the grid. And if it is a fully 5-element Christmas tree, then I love putting it in prosperity, wealth, and abundance. That's where I put mine. No, because if it's a 5-element balance, then it adds that beautiful energy to my feeling of abundance, which is very important to me. Fame and reputation isn't that important to me, but abundance and love are. So I leave you with those thoughts about where to put your Christmas tree. Anybody have any questions on that?
No, thank you.
Okay, so you already know now some more feng shui magic. You had some when you came in and now you have more. Please have fun with it. I'm open to questions after the session if anybody wants to stay with me. But meanwhile, if you also want to learn more about the use of the 5 elements, because they can be used in understanding yourself, your partnerships, your relationships, your business, your how to dress, your space. Everybody has 5 elements all over the place. Then I have a little workshop, which I recommend that you check it out. And this is the link for it. It's really fun and it also opens your eyes. A couple of you have done it already. And so please, if you're interested, follow through with that. You get much more background than we can do in this session. It's just about 2 hours. And then if you would like to contact me, this is the way to contact me, but I think most of you know how to do that already. And you can always find me through the Find Your Fire tribe. So having said that, guys, I wish you love.